This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping the foot on the whoop, the nicks. We keeping the foot on the whoop, the nicks. And like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am, man. Like the Siberian tiger that I am, I'm applying whoop unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Let's talk about it, man. All right. This is what He Knows Everything was talking about when he said Monnie Brown is a Coon Bafoon. Why are you mentioning Canelo Alvarez and Errol Spence in the same breath? This is what we're talking about. Both of them are chasing pound for pound number one. How? Cinammon Dust over Horchata fought a Billy Joe Saunders who fought a journeyman in his last fucking fight. He fought a year the rim. Don't get me started, man. And then before that, who else did he fucking fight? Caleb Smith? So this is heavyweight lifting. This is heavyweight lifting the notion. Let's talk about Errol Spence. His last opponents. Manny Pacquiao now. Manny Pacquiao dwarfs any of these Rudy Poo and Plum Brains. Classic Dotes and Troglodytes. Ultra fucking fanboys with the ultra fucking fanboy rhetoric fighters. On that fucking list. Then he fought Danny Garcia. Top 5 welterweight. Trumps any one of those guys. And then he fought Sean Porter. Name me a last 3 opponents that Cinammon Dust over Horchata fought that's on the level of Errol the True Spence. And then after that, he's going to fight either Eudenis Ugas and probably Eudenis Ugas and Terrence Buck Crawford. Spence is fighting nothing but heavyweight lifting. So what the fuck are you talking about, Monnie Brown, when you're saying they're comparing each other for who's going to be pound for pound number one? They're on a rule for pound number one. Cinammon Dust over Horchata, if he wants to get on the pound for pound number one list, he needs to fight Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade to make up for the fact that he didn't fight those opponents that he was supposed to. The fact that he's ducking these guys. This is what black boxing community fan base or so-called black boxing community fan bases have relegated themselves to. They've relegated themselves to conquer and divide and conquer. Errol the True Spence is going to retire a legend. Errol the True Spence is fighting a legacy fight. Name a legacy fight that Cinammon Dust over Horchata fought. Don't give me Floyd Mayweather. Because Errol the True Spence is going to properly retire Manny Pacquiao. In order for you to give a young fighter a legacy fight, they have to win. Let me say it again. In order for you to give a young fighter a legacy fight, they have to win. Not just show up to the fucking party. That's why Cinammon Dust over Horchata and Alvarez is the LeBron James of boxing. Because like LeBron James, he's a fraud. Cinammon Dust over Horchata and Alvarez is what the fuck he is. A Cinammon Dust over Horchata of a fucking Alvarez. This guy's not for real. He's not a real fighter. All he is a make-believe, a fucking pretend. All he is basically what we say that he is. A fighter that's not fucking serious. A fighter that's not about that action. A fighter that's not about that free smoke. Because when it's all said and done, this is what it boils down to. That Cinammon Dust over Horchata is what the fuck he is. A Cinammon Dust over Horchata. Because when it's all said and done, Cinammon Dust over fucking Horchata is not a real fighter. Because if he was a real fighter, if he was about that free smoke, if he was about that action, if he was about everything that they say that he is, which is basically a heavyweight lifter, which is a pound for pound number one, then he would have fought Jamal Charlo. He would have fought Demetrius Andrade. He wouldn't have ducked the free smoke. Errol the True Spence got out of a fucking car crash. Did you not hear the interview? I wanted to prove to everyone my true grit. I wanted to prove to everyone the type of fighter that I am. And I could have fought Kuda Triddle or Duda Kurov. I could have basically tried to get all of my cylinders clicking on all fucking cylinders and fought my tune-up. I would have been well within my right. But I used Danny Garcia as a tune his ass up. When has Cinammon Dust over Horchata and Alvarez used a top 5 middleweight as a tune his ass up? So why are we comparing Cinammon Dust over Horchata and Alvarez, the fraud, the Caucasian masquerading as a Mexican, with Errol the True Spence? This tells you right here, Monnie Brown is one of those fake as fuck Errol the True Spence fans. Low-key Errol the True Spence haters. He want to see Errol the True Spence lose. I done told you guys, man. I revealed this and prophesied this a long time ago. There are a bunch of what we would say wolves in sheep's clothing. Inwardly, they appear Basically, outwardly they appear as white as sepulchre, but inwardly they're filled with dead men's bones. These are fake as fuck Errol the True Spence fans, because if they were real Errol the True Spence fans, they would never compare Cinammon Dust of a Horchata and Alvarez, the fraud of the boxer that he is, with the likes of Mr. Tactical Aggression, Mr. Technical Puncher Placement, and Mr. Body Snatching Work, the levying onslaught, the punishment style. Spence is doing heavyweight lifting the notion. Cinammon Dust of a Horchata and Alvarez is doing pretending. He's not a heavyweight lifter, he's a pretender. Let me say it again. He's not a heavyweight lifter, he's a pretender. That's the cold-hearted, that's the unadulterated, that's the cutthroat true teller fashion. When it's all said and done, Monnie Brown continues to sell out. Monnie Brown is no longer black. He's pale skinned. He's being fucking rotted by Cinammon Dust of a Horchata. Ask him. Cinammon Dust of a Horchata is fucking him. Rotting him in the ass. Busting fucking nuts in his ass crack. Because that's the only way that I could justify this cooning and fucking buffooning. Because men that think reasonably, that think effectively, and men that think basically with what we would say a corpus callosum, a cerebellum, a medulla oblongata, and has a fucking brain, will not sit here and keep being ramrodded by Cinammon Dust of a Horchata, getting nuts of cinnamon dust busting their fucking ass. That's probably why he's on the fucking wheelchair, because Cinammon Dust of a Horchata is ramrodding his ass. And when it's all said and done, say some stupid shit out of his mouth the way that he's saying it. Because when it's all said and done, you can't compare what Errol the True Spence is doing with Cinammon Dust of a Horchata and Alvarez. One is actually a pound for pound fighter. The other one is a fucking pretender. I keeps the foot on the whoop, the Knicks. I keeps the foot on the whoop, the Knicks. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.